This show is brought to you by the This Old Nerd store, powered by Amazon.com. Visit store.thisoldnerd.com. Find everything we've talked about and so much more at the store. Plus, since it's powered by Amazon, it's safe and secure. Buy from the This Old Nerd store, you get tech, we get a commission. It's win-win. Welcome back to This Old Nerd. I am Ayaz Akhtar. I am This Old Nerd. And first off, we want to thank all you guys for going to the tip jar and throwing us a couple bucks. You've helped us out. We've got a couple of new things, well, really in the production. Now, wireless microphone, so I can like run over here, and my camera person is not going crazy. So we have a wireless microphone partially funded by you guys. Thanks so much. Today's episode's about something frightening, not for the faint of heart. Today, we're talking about getting rid of your cell phone. That sounds crazy, right? Why would you get rid of your cell phone? This is really about money, okay? We don't want to pay the crappy fees they keep giving us. They're like, well, here's a data plan fee and a voice plan, text plan. Oh, did you want this other thing? That's going to cost you extra money. Forget that. We know that the cell phone people, at least in America, they are using pretty much all data, okay? There's not really a voice connection and there's not really data anymore. They're just splitting it out. They're splitting hairs and they're taking a lot of money out of our pockets. So what we're going to do is move to a data-only plan, and it's going to be a flat rate. So it's going to be kind of neat. Plus, if you don't want to ditch your cell phone, you think that's too crazy, you can also use everything that we're talking about, or mostly everything we're talking about, to getting rid of your landline. So if you still have a landline, you can ditch that too. So let's see. What do we need for this project? Well, we're going to need some kind of internet connection, some kind of internet device. That's pretty much all you need. Oh, wait a minute. If you want to keep your number, we're going to have to port it to something. What should we port it to? We had to port our number to something. And what we used was this thing. This is the Umatello. It is a VoIP box. You buy it once. It costs about 200 bucks. You can get it at This Old Nerd store. And then the first year it's free. Every subsequent year it'll cost you $13 in like taxes and fees and whatever. But $13 a year. This has my old cell phone number on it. So if I take it anywhere, anywhere, and connects to the internet, I still have my phone number. Let's get a close-up of this. We'll show you how it's actually hooked up. This little flower thing is just an indicator light. That means everything's running fine. It actually has a built-in digital answering machine if you want. You also see you can change the brightness and stuff over here. And this needs to be wired. Now we're going to disconnect it and show you the back of it so you can see how this is connected. Okay, this is the back of the Tello, and you can see a USB port. You can connect an optional USB dongle that does Bluetooth, so if you wanted to pair your cell phone and you still had that, you can do that. This is the power port. You can see there's some tape gunk because the power adapter is kind of short. So we actually had to use some tape to stick that on there. That's a big design flaw with this device. Here's your network connection and your phone jacks. So you can actually connect some landline phones to this thing. So if you want to reuse your old cordless phones, you can do that. Now we're using Ooma for a couple of reasons. We didn't want to go to a service that holds our phone number because we didn't want to pay a monthly fee. Now granted, Ooma is going to charge us yearly, but it's like what, $2 a month? That's pretty good for us. On top of that, it has E911. So if we picked up the phone and dialed 911, the person on the other line is going to actually know where our house is. You actually do that as a setting in Ooma. You tell it what address you have, and then the 911 people know how to actually find you. So that kind of could save your life. On the downsides, obviously, is if you don't have this hooked up to a UPS, you need to have your router, your modem, and your Ooma on a UPS, an uninterruptible power supply, because if there's a power outage, well, you don't have a phone. When you're on the go and you want to still have a communications device, you can do a lot of things. We're going to suggest getting the Virgin Mobile MiFi. Now this little device turns 3G into a Wi-Fi connection. So if you take this and you attach it to something like, I don't know, this is an old iPhone. Now it doesn't have a service plan, so pretty much it's just an iPod Touch. You can make calls via Skype on this thing or the Ooma app or whatever you want. Now, what you should know about the Virgin Mobile MiFi is that it does not come subsidized. It costs 150 bucks, but then you own it. The plans are ridiculously cheap. 40 bucks a month, unlimited data. That's it. There's no, oh, is it 10,000 minutes? No. Is it 5 gigabytes? No. It's unlimited, no asterisks. By the way, if you don't want to use that, you don't want to use it month to month, you don't have to have a month to month anything. You can just say, charge me for 10 days, I want 100 megabytes. That's it. It'll cost you 10 bucks. Pretty good deal. Those things expire. And for some reason, let's say you don't plan on going anywhere, you don't need to have it active every month. So you're not paying every month like you would with a cell phone. Plus, This thing doesn't care if you're sending texts or if you're looking at multimedia or whatever. It's unlimited, unlimited, unlimited. Around the world, I think you guys have better deals than us. But in America, $40 a month for unlimited data is a really good deal. A quick note about the Virgin Mobile thing. It's running on the Sprint network. So take a look around in your area, see if Sprint covers where you are, because for us, it actually works pretty well. Let's talk about the actual MiFi, not just the plans, but the actual tech involved here. Let's get in close to show you this. You can see it's got one button. This green light is an indicator. It tells you, well, it's on. And over here on the side, you can see this is when our data is actually on. When this is blinking, then you're using actual data. Next to that is a USB port where you can actually charge this device. On the back of the MiFi, you have your SSID and a password so you can actually connect to your MiFi. Back here, there's a battery port. We're going to try to take off the case to slide that off, and you can actually have a user replaceable battery there. So if this thing ever dies, you can replace that. It's a very simple device. As a battery indicator, this light can change color. When it's at red, this thing needs to be charged. Every time you connect to your MiFi on your web browser, you can actually see how much battery life you have on the device. Now, we contacted our friends at Drobo, and guess what? They are hooking us up. We're going to have a deal for you. Here are the details.
If you go to drobostore.com and use the code THISOLDNERD, all caps, no spaces, you can save $50 off of a Drobo. If you buy a Drobo FS or a Drobo S, you'll save $100. If you buy the Drobo Pro, you'll save $150. Once again, the code is THISOLDNERD. These codes only work in the US. EU codes are coming soon.
Now, why did I pick the Virgin Mobile MiFi, which is available at the This Old Nerd store, over something like the Rover Puck? Now, the Rover Puck is awesome. It's a similar concept. You can connect devices to it, and it runs at 4G speeds, so it's way faster than this. The downside is that 4G is not everywhere, plus that Rover, if there's no 4G, you have nothing. This thing gets 3G pretty much wherever there's Sprint coverage, which is all over the country. In our case, if we wanted to go where we live, the Rover wouldn't work. If we went to the city, it would work. That's a difference of 40 miles. That's really lame. For a portable device, the one we're going to be carrying around, we have here an iPhone 3G. Why would you use an iPhone 3G as your internet device? Well, it's actually a pretty good handset. It's got a speaker, it's got a microphone built in, it's got a speakerphone. I'm actually probably going to get an iPod Touch to replace this. This just happens to be lying around the house. Now, we have Skype running on this, and you can see the light blinking on the MiFi, meaning we have a connection between our phone and this thing. So this is really an iPod Touch. There is no AT&T on this. If you can actually, can we get really close? I don't know if you can see that. So we're gonna call Movie Phone because just in case the call sucks, we don't want somebody getting mad at us. I'm gonna put the call on speaker.
Hello and welcome to Movie Phone. To use our new speech-enabled system, press star 2.
We'll try that.
Press 1 now. To search for a movie, just say the name of the movie you want.
Due date.
Choose from a list of due date. If that's not it, say go back.
So it actually worked well enough for their automated machine to actually understand us. Now, we've had varying quality of audio on this. I know in one area in Manhattan we had pretty crappy coverage, so my wife on the other line thought I sounded like some kind of alien robot, which is not what I normally sound like, because clearly I sound like this. I've had better calls in other locations to the point where the call quality was higher than that of the UMA. So instead of a broadband connection giving us the connection, it was this thing giving us a better audio connection on Skype. Now, don't get too greedy out there. I also had an iPad at the same time. I was trying to surf the web and I was on the phone. And guess what? The call quality suffered. So don't get too greedy. Don't forget, by the way, if your upload speeds are kind of crappy, you'll still be able to do texts and emails and that kind of stuff. So check your coverage area because this is actually a pretty good replacement. To tie everything together, we're going to use Google Voice. Now, what Google Voice is, it's a service from Google that gives you a phone number. This is your new phone number. Give it out to everybody you know. When people call this number, the number will then send the call to whatever phone you decided. So in our case, we're going to send it to our UMA number and our Skype number. We have a Skype out number. I highly suggest you have a Skype out number because it gives you a ton of minutes wherever you are on your portable device. So you're going to get a call on your phone that way. The other thing about Google Voice is it takes care of your text messages. So when you want to get a text, you'll receive it through Google Voice. When you want to send a text, you use Google Voice. Now, to actually receive text the way you used to, you're going to want a little pop-up on your phone to tell you, hey, you got to meet somebody for dinner. What you do is you're going to set up a filter. We're going to use an application called Boxcar on iOS. We're going to use Google Voice. We're going to tell Voice to send our text to our email. From our email, we're going to create a filter that forwards these messages to our actual device. On your iOS device, get Boxcar. It's a free application. Now go into your settings. You're going to add and edit services. From there, you're going to hit plus because you want to add an account. You're going to pick an email account. Now it makes sure push is enabled. That's good. Now we're going to give it a friendly name. We're going to call this Old Nerd. We're going to hit save. Now done. Now, if you go into your Gmail, you're going to receive information about your Boxcar forwarding address. You gave your email information when you signed up for Boxcar. Now, go to Google Voice. In Settings, turn on text forwarding to your email. That's in the voicemail and text section. In Gmail, you're going to create a filter for emails from *@txt.voice.google.com. You're going to forward those emails to your Boxcar forwarding email address. And that pretty much does it. You're going to receive text messages on your iOS device just like you used to. One quick caveat though, you will not be able to receive MMSs this way. If that was too fast for you, don't worry about it. Go to the This Old Nerd site. We have written instructions on how to receive text notifications using Google Voice and Boxcar. Now, we can also set up a system to receive tweets or Facebook things or whatever, because Boxcar is actually pretty full-featured. You can receive DMs and everything on this, and they'll just show up right on your phone. It's time for the most important thing that we talk about in every episode, the partner acceptance rating. Thunk. So, in this case, you're going to want to pretty much reuse the same old money argument. You're going to say, we'll save money, we can go out to dinner, blah, 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 blah. We talked about that in the last episode. Don't pitch the idea that you're going to be disconnected. Oh, no one can contact me and this other stuff. Don't mention that. That's what she's going to say. She's going to say, how could you want to be disconnected from the world? How am I going to get in contact with you? What you're going to do is say, you know what? I thought about that. And actually, I will still remain connected. You just have to change your phone number, and you can still text me and call me, and I'll still be able to receive all kinds of communications. It's just going to be a different number. That's all. In fact, by the way, if you want to avoid this entire thing, one day, just sneak into your partner's phone, change the phone number to your Google Voice thing. They're not going to notice a change at all. So you can be completely, honest and say, look, we're saving money and it's going to be great for us. Or you can be really sneaky and just completely change it on your own. It'll take you a couple minutes. Let's do a quick recap of what we've done here. We've taken probably was a gigantic, massive, horrible cell phone bill, probably over $100, and we've cut it. It's like horror movie slashed it from about $100 to around $40. So your Virgin Mobile Wi-Fi maxes out at $40 a month. If you're using something like us, like Uma and Skype, probably adds another $5. So $45 a month. That means you're saving over $50. You can buy yourself a lot of beer, a lot of tech, maybe some beer and tech. Don't forget we're using Google Voice, and that's free. So it's actually a really good deal so far. Now that pretty much wraps up this episode, but coming up on This Old Nerd, we're going to do a series, a 4-part series on front ends. We're talking about front ends for Macs, Windows, video game systems, and set-top boxes. We're getting a lot of tech in from a lot of companies. They're actually helping us out because you guys are watching the show, so thanks for watching. And remember to ask yourself this question, by the way. How's your tech life? I'm Aya's Actor for This Old Nerd, and I'll see you next week.